You probably had a lot of adventures um, in ADAC. What was your most, I guess, uh, the one you remember the most?
Well, you
The
mean
most, I guess, the most.
exciting?
Yeah.
Probably the most foolhardy thing that I did is when I went and stayed overnight on Mount, the mountain behind the camp. I stayed overnight two different times on the mountain. Once was early in the spring, and I had the guy that I worked with take me up as far as he could with a command car on Friday or on Saturday night. Then I had all day Sunday. I stayed up there Saturday night and then came back Sunday. Two different times. Anyway, the time that we went up, there wasn't a breath of air blowing. Weather was good. And when I got up on the top of where I was going to stay, I had these are just little things I remember about it. I didn't go to the commissary very often, and I really had no place to buy food or get food and so forth. So I had taken a couple cans of mushroom soup. I thought, boy, that would taste good. And I had built just a little round thing that I could put some lacquer thinner in and make like alcohol burner, so that I could have tea and heat some that soup or whatever. I happened to be on tea at the time, drank an awful lot of tea, and any trip I went, I took my little alcohol burner. But anyway, I got up on top of Mount Moffat about dark, and I'm gonna have a good cup of soup, and I didn't know mushroom soup looked like, it looked like sour cream.
Yeah.
I thought, holy crap! But anyway, I didn't even heat it. I didn't know that if I'd have heated it, why, of course, it would have been better. But eating it, then, but anyway, the story is, I wanted some pictures of Mount Caniga and Tanaga. Both of them were volcanoes that were active. When I say active, they were just shooting out smoke. But they were very conical, like Fujiyama.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get a picture of that, which I have in my album some damn place. But I got a picture, and about 1,000 feet down on Tanaga, you could see this cloud level, and everything was white. And I could see where on Mount Moffat, I could see where it came up. And then of course I went to bed before the wind started. It was silent, not a whisper of wind blowing. And during the night that storm came in, I was up against a kind of a little cliff-like and a niche in a rock. Mike was safe from the wind. And I had a feather sleeping bag, and I was wearing those big thermal pants that I finally sold in a garage sale a couple of years ago. But in the night, that wind came up and blowing so damn hard, which didn't bother me because I was familiar with it. Then it started to rain. And man, it came down. The rain was just, of course, horizontal. I'm right on top of that damn mountain now. And whatever the storm was doing, I was in the full blast of that wind. Well, I stayed in that damn bed as long as I could. I hated to get up, but it was probably noon before I dared get out. I knew I had to get off. I got up and I left my sleeping bag, left everything there, but the only thing I had on was my wasn't waterproof. It was just
Warm.
warm. I started down the hill, and as far as it being dangerous going down, it wasn't dangerous. I could see, and there was no, rock crevasses and crap like that. It was just, we'll say, afternoon's walk down there. But to go down through there, you had to come up next to a little cliff-like thing, and the wind was coming from this side, and it was hitting that incline that came up to the peak. And that wind, I don't know what the speed was, but it would hit that, and then of course it would form that little cornice of rain or whatever. And the raindrops were big raindrops that were hitting you. You couldn't look into the rain at all, and that you still had that cross wind hitting you, but you could go up to that edge of that cliff, and that where that was coming up, that sheet of water was coming up like that, and it was as quiet as a tomb. It wasn't. You could. There was when I say as quiet as a tomb, it must have been making noise. Common sense would say it was noisy, but I couldn't hear it. I'm saying it was silent there. So some of the walk down was right next, and that wind coming right close to your ear, but it was a